All right. Oh shit. I was not ready. Hey guys, welcome to the Sip of Joelle podcast, where you come and get a little sip of Joelle.
So, what I wanted to talk about today was you actually went to the Lucid Dreams festival and were one of the art directors for the event. This was the first time for you. Let's start with, what was that experience like? Kind of first time being on the back end of one of these shows.
Okay, so there were 3 art directors. It was China, me, and T. Mofoid. Mofid? I hope I said her name right. I loved her. T was a saint, was an angel. I didn't go with anyone to this festival, but T and I, we camped together, and her camp was called Femme Fatale, and it was beautiful. It was fairy-esque. It was like a big giant cuddle puddle, and the teamwork, like the supplies she brought for that was just immaculate, beautiful. Can't wait to do it again. But so the art directing part, that was fun. Very fun. It was kind of a little bit all over the place. T was telling me, because T runs a gallery up in Rockville, how that wasn't exactly directly like how things should have gone, which is okay, because it was the first festival. Lucid Dream, this is very much like the first run to see how it went. And I'd say like the grounds that we used, that they chose up in Ramblewood was like perfect. I loved the area, and the art hall was basically like it's a campground, so it's like they have camp and kids go and whatever. But the mess hall was where the art gallery was, and we had one half of it the gallery, and then the other half an art bazaar, and then over in the back was workshops.
What is an art bazaar?
An art bazaar is basically an art bazaar. It's like a little vending area, like farmer's market for art. Yeah,
oh, okay.
There we go.
Gotcha.
So T and I got there. We started we started setting up our booths. I set up my booth in a way that I was like, I wanted to be in a little corner, and I got the corner that I wanted because I got to be art director, blessed. But first come, first serve. So I set up my booth. We started having some people come in on the first day of it, and first come, first serve. So they all got to set up their stuff.
How many artists did you guys have?
I think we had like 36, but a couple ended up dropping out, which was fine. And so Thursday was really fun because I got to set up my booth, and I set it up, like I said, I set it up in a way that was kind of weird and not really vibing with it. And then I think later that day, later on Friday, I was like doing my volunteer shift, and I was just like sitting there pacing because I'm just like, what am I doing? This is not right. I don't know what to do. I was literally talking to Creator, God, higher power, whoever you want to call it. I only use the word God, guys. I literally was like asking him, I was like, God, like, what do I do? I'm stressed out right now. I don't know what to do with this booth. Like, it's just stressing me out. And so I just wait, and literally not even 10 minutes later, T's boyfriend comes in doing vlogging for the event, and comes in with T's friend that I had met on FaceTime before, and we didn't even realize it was us talking to each other. You know how like you meet someone in person that you met on the phone, but then you don't realize that the person that you're meeting was the person on the phone?
Yeah, it's a totally different person until you get the connection.
And she just says to me, she goes, girl, you need to make this like your own little universe. Like, block this side off from the rest of the people so that you can have your own little universe where people come in. And I was like, I already have it like this. I don't want to like make it too difficult, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, oh, that was the answer. So that was just like one first little instance of God's existence in there. Like, oh my God, universe is supporting you wholeheartedly, guys. If you just ask for help, you will receive that help in the form that you need it. And that was her, Joy, telling me to make my own little universe in the corner, and that helped really a lot. Made the space a lot more comfortable for people to like view the art and whatnot. And then I like built 2 little pin walls that were new for my print hanging, and those like worked like magic. They were really great. And yeah, and then I went and set up my gallery, all my art, helped the other people set up their art. I wish I got more videos of people in the bazaar, but I didn't because I was just not thinking. I feel bad. But I don't really know how to describe anything else because it went really smoothly. We ended up making like a volunteer list between the artists, and like the artists that volunteered got their vending fee waived, because we always want to help creators and artists get to where they need to go. But when I say the people, the artists that I found, angels. Shout out to Spicy Crab Dip specifically because she just made a little small impact. She gave me a free little bikini, and I was like, that's so sweet. And I gave her an oracle card reading, and it was just so beautiful, and she had such a bright soul. Everyone there had such a light, kind-hearted soul, and I was obsessed with being there. Like, I've never been in a space where there's so many people with like minds, having fun together, experiencing that time together, and everyone's just so helpful. It felt like a dream come true. Like, pinch me, I am dreaming. That's how I felt all week. Like, I woke up in the morning, sun's out, you're in nature. Oh, my headphones just died. Hold on. Whoops.
Oh, is that what that's
Oh my gosh. My dog is thrown up.
Yeah, so let's talk about, you said you went you went there alone. What kind of inspired that? Do you usually go to shows solo?
Yeah, I'm a solo girl. So you all know, or you might not, I was raised in dog shows, conformation dog shows, as a kid. So from 10 to still active in it. Basically 10 to 18 though, I was showing dogs in conformation dog shows, and it was like the same setup. It's just you pack all your stuff in your car, you go to the venue, you unload. So I'm very used to knowing everything that I need to pack, how to camp, whatnot, because I've been camping all my life. Literally, either I didn't have like an RV, my mom didn't have an RV, we like literally slept in the bus or camped, whatever. So my parents raised me to be very independent, which is really great. Dog shows, literally, when I say, if you guys can zoom out on your life and like understand why things happen, like this is like one of those moments. Like, the dog shows prepared me for this festival life. Like, no doubt about it. It was like, Lucid Dream was me finally stepping into the reality I've been dreaming to get into. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Because it's like real. And I've been like sitting here waiting for this to happen for like 3 years. And having faith for 3 years, like, hardcore, because like a lot of people can lose faith in what's meant for them or what they want. And I know something about me, like, I'm so sorry that I'm tearing up. Just really passionate subject. When you have that much faith in something and you don't see the results when you are expecting to see them, because God's timing is perfect, it's better than yours, and it will never be, like, if you say that your timing and you know when something is meant to happen for you, that's basically saying, like, oh, the man upstairs, like, that's, like, just disrespecting. So I've always knew that I had to be patient, which is a karmic challenge of mine, and just wait and had that blind faith and optimism that no matter what happened, everything was going to work out for me. I felt like for the past 3 years, I've been, like, grabbing whatever cup I can to, like, get me to where I needed to be and be like, oh, well, I want that cup instead, so I have to put this one back. Or, like, well, I can't carry 2 cups, like, you know, where was I? Yeah, it literally felt like stepping into a new reality. So it was like literally, I was driving around in a golf cart at one point, and I just like had just an awakening, like, wow, this is my new place. Like, this is what I've been manifesting. This is where I've been trying to get to. And I just want to share to people that, like, it's possible. because I literally thought I was going to be a professional dog handler for the rest of my life doing something that made me completely miserable. Also, another thing to the manifestation was I didn't want to work for handlers that had like quantity dogs over quality. So like the more dogs you have, the less attention you can give them. And I found that pretty unfair. And I would also be stressed the entire day. So this past weekend, I went to a dog show and I worked for a new person. And I realized I was like, oh, I'm also in my new reality in dog show life because I'm not having to work for a handler that has 20 dogs. I work for someone that has 8 dogs and I can give them the desired of the greatest attention that they can and all the love that they can throughout the day.
That's something that I've experienced in the company too. Working with like I really prefer if I can to keep one client at a time. And just really like hone in and help that one person, especially for kind of the events you went to, because we work as kind of camera crews for these events to kind of do the blogging for creators or companies, that kind of thing. And it really allows them to enjoy it and kind of get the experience that you're talking about out of the convention that they're at, while also getting those moments captured. But if I'm trying to focus on too many different things at the same time, you lose a lot of what's special about that event, especially if you're doing it for someone else, because I don't know what is necessarily the most important part to someone else unless they tell me. But when I'm able to work closely with one person for a long time, you kind of get to learn what they like, what their experience is going to be. It's kind of like doing this podcast, honestly, right? Like the first episode, we struggle to kind of know what we're doing or how each of us flows. But then as you kind of get to know each other better, you kind of can anticipate, this is the one take someone's going to have, this is the other idea. And I think being able to really hone in on something like that, whether it's with dogs, if it's having like a smaller booth so that you're able to specialize and like focus on each of the pieces you brought, or just like a client in some sort of commission or job, really honing in on one person has really been special to me too.
Yeah, quality has always been like, oh, well, this kind of relates to like the last episode, when I was talking about the art market, when I was telling you guys to like experiment. There's a time where quantity is okay, but there's also a time where like it's time to focus on quality and slowing it down and actually like specifically focusing on certain things. And like I'm sure if you had 2 clients, that'd be very overwhelming. Because just considering like how much work you already do, like, yeah.
No, I was just saying that it happens really quick too, you know? It's not one of these things where like it balances really well at the beginning, because everyone wants you to be at your best a lot of the time, or the expectations are the highest at the beginning of anything you do. I think when you start a class, that first week is the most intense with like the rules and all that kind of stuff. Ooh. I think a job is very similar. So it actually gets easier juggling more things as you kind of go, but it's starting a lot of things at the same time that can be the challenging part.
Yeah, and like we can talk about like how, because like I knew like I wasn't ready to start doing podcast episodes in November. Like it was literally, I had to prepare myself, and in increments of time, like every 3 days, I was talking about in the first episode, something would improve. It's like it's very slow change, and then when you release expectation, like for my class, my psychology class, I had some high expectations going into there about what I was going to learn, and then I was disappointed about what I actually learned, and I was like, this wasn't what I was expecting to learn. And what I should have done was go in there with no expectation, you know? But it helped me with what I needed to do, because it was activating my brain and helping me recognize more stuff that I needed to do. I forgot what I was talking about before I said psychology.
Managing expectations.
Release them expectations, because... Oh, I'd say, so like I'm at the point in my life, not even, like 3 years ago, I made the choice to like surrender to flow, surrender to where the God and universe wants me to go. And I was like, I know I have a path to take and I need to be put onto it. And so releasing expectation of how like this was going to end up was the best thing that I could have done, because God's plans are better than what you have planned. Like, and if you let go of your plan and you accept what God has like, or the universe has in store for you, it's like, it's going to turn out so much better than you expected. And I wanted to say, relating to like jobs. I don't know why I need to say this, but it was about balancing and managing, like having quality or work. Sorry. If you notice that you're extremely drained doing something, doing a job, that it's not right for you. Your body is going to tell you when something is right for you. Like literally yesterday, I was about to start making a new plan for something, and then all of a sudden, just a blast of just drainage hits me. And I thought it was being resistance, but it was more like, no, you're just going to waste energy if you put more energy into this. So we're just going to take your energy so you just don't even do it. But it's like how people say after their 9 to 5, they don't have time for art because they're so drained. It's like, yeah, because you're not doing what you're actually supposed to be doing, which is something that makes your heart spark and feel alive. So like when I work on my art, like I'm motivated. I have motivation to do that.
No, for sure. Burnout is a huge thing that's a part of like the medical field that I'm trying to go into right now, and something that they talk about all the time. But I think it's so real in other areas too. Going so hard for so long in something, it's hard not to, I think, get burnt out if you don't have a true passion for it, right? And honestly, even if you have a passion for it, is that something you've ever dealt with, like a big burnout phase or like just a prolonged period where you just don't know if it's something that you can do?
I have a whole story on that. It's something I just went through. So, like I said, I've been showing dogs since I was 10 years old. Every weekend we would be going to dog shows. And like I said, I worked for people that had a large amount of dogs, so I never had me time. And then when I made the decision last year, 2022, to start my bodybuilding, I basically went from dog shows to bodybuilding, and then bodybuilding is even more intense. But I knew I could do it because I got that dog in me. And then I also have type 1 diabetes since I was 12, so every single day I'm having to be responsible for that and active. And then my art, during my bodybuilding, I was balancing and juggling those so much and like going hard. Like I was trying to make 2 paintings a week because I was in school. I was in school and bodybuilding at the same time, like art school and bodybuilding at the same time, which was like the inspiration for some of the pieces that I made during that time. But after the bodybuilding competition, everything just collapsed. Like, when you don't give yourself rest, God is going to force that rest upon you. It is divine rest. So I felt like he gave me, which I'm so grateful for, was like literally 4 to 6 months of a break. And he was like, yo, I'm giving you this break because you need it. And I see that, and I knew that. And even when, oh my God, I'm getting emotional in this episode so much. I got to such a dark place this past winter, because like my body, I'm just gonna cry. My bodybuilding, it was like the high. I was at a high because I was accomplishing everything I needed. But life comes in roller coasters and waves. So what goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. So I knew that a down was going to come because I'm very self-aware of the patterns in life. And I know that, like, even with my own mental health, I'll have 2 weeks good, 2 weeks bad. But at the bodybuilding point, I was at the peak for a while. And then right after it, August, September, I was slowly falling. And then September hits, and October, November, December, I was like at the deepest, darkest depression I've ever had. It was hard. I had people kind of really putting me down for my dreams. I surrounded myself with someone who wasn't good for me, but the thing is, I was friends with this person because I knew that they were an experience I had to experience because it helped me find myself again. But this person basically, like, I would lift them up for all of their ideas, and then he, in return, would shit on all of my fucking ideas. All of my ideas being like, no, you can't make that. That's not going to be possible. But I was like, I have a foolproof plan and method that I can implement. Meanwhile, you don't. So who are you to tell me that my plan isn't going to work when I have a plan that clearly shows it's gonna work. So I had to get through that, and this person was teaching me boundaries. When you start realizing people are lessons or blessings, you will recognize what they're there to teach you. And he was the one that taught me boundaries for myself, and in return, I was teaching him empathy. So it's like, it's really cool to when you recognize that everything in life is teaching you to become your best version of yourself. It's literally, these interactions with people are literally challenges and lessons for you to learn from. This person was also, in September, I'd say, I was on the low. We were like getting down low, and I went to a wedding, and somebody noticed that I wasn't doing well, and like she could tell. And she was like, hey, if you ever want to like grab some coffee and talk, let's do that. And I was like, okay. So went and got some coffee with her, and then she goes, I want you to reach out to my God, my Christian God. And I kind of laughed in the back because I was like, I'm connected to source and universe. Like, you know, I feel like I am at least. But I never really like believed in God fully. But finally I'm like literally driving away and I go, all right, show yourself, like do it. And he was working his way through showing me through this person as well. Because at the end of the season, I was like, God, why is this person in my life still? Can you rip him out, burn the bridge? And let me tell you, the bridge was burnt, which I'm so grateful for. But what I was talking about, where was I before I? Oh, okay. So these people in your life are lessons. And what's really funny is he knew that he is a chaotic evil, you know? He knows he comes into people's lives to teach them lessons. Everyone in my circle called him the devil, and everyone was like scared when I became friends with him, and I knew this. Like, this was a fated event, you know? And it was like, we were polar opposites too, so like there was no reason that we should have been friends, but it was like yin and yang. But the 3 lessons he left me with, he literally, like, we were foreshadowing. We knew that we weren't supposed to be friends. We were just like, I wonder when it's gonna happen. Like, we would actively talk about it and be like, yep, I wonder when the season finale is. Because every day we'd just be like, oh, what a funny season we're in. Because this was a group of people that I associated with for the past 7 years, but never had, like, a season with them, you know? I never had, like, a connection to them until then. But he tells me, 1, not everyone deserves love and energy. 2, you will be used for emotional labor if you're too giving. And 3, feet on the ground. And I still look at that. I miss him. Because, like, as much as you know somebody's bad for you and you make a connection with them, like, at a deep level where you're literally teaching lessons to each other's soul, and it's like someone that you know is bad for you, but you just have a fucked up type of love for them. And this was a friend, guys. Do not think that I was out here, you know, being a gross little person. I don't know. Yeah. This was a friend, and we impacted each other hardcore. And I still miss him. That's okay. I'm still trying to... It's like I don't want him back in my life because that was a lesson, you know? People are lessons. But also you can tell who those people are that are supposed to be, like, in every season because, like, they don't leave. Like, I have friends that are from 10 seasons ago that are still in my life. But when you ask God to take the people that are not supposed to be in your life out, he will do it. And...
Oh, for sure.
Everyone on TikTok is like, when I go to say that one little prayer, you also need to use that for your friends. Like, not just relationships, friends. Like, ask him to take it out because you're only preventing yourself and you're giving yourself more trauma. You are giving yourself more trauma by not asking the higher ups if this is even for you, you know?
No, that's definitely true. I talk about this a lot in my life group, about when you ask God for something, he's going to give it to you, but it's not always going to be the way you want it to come. Yep. Our running theme is patience. Like, we warn someone every time they ask us to pray for them to have patience. We tell them beforehand that okay, but be prepared to be put in situations that are going to force you or give you opportunities to be patient, right?
Yes.
God's not going to magically give you a divine sense of peace most of the time. Usually what he's going to do is he's going to put you in, rush hour traffic when you're running late. And you're then going to have to self-regulate a little bit and be like, okay, this is my opportunity, right? God is giving me ultimately what feels like a challenge is a blessing to try and grow in this way. And I think he does that with friends a lot. At least that's how I look at it too, is like he will put people in your life to help you get somewhere. Maybe it's so that you can help someone else and maybe you're that person for somebody. But that has definitely been my experience too, of God will put people in your life for them to do a work in you and to help you grow.
Yep, so this person was put into my life to teach me boundaries and how to respect myself and stop giving people energy that didn't deserve it. And now I'm in the phase of my life where he literally has been teaching me patience for the past 2 months. He's like, I need you to be so secure in yourself where you don't need anybody else, where you're finally whole with being yourself. And he's taught me patience, and I know patience is like one of my karmic challenges, so it's like, okay, I understand why you're doing this now because I need patience. And I was so grateful for that. But I also like to go back because I didn't finish earlier. Talking about the lows, like, I want everyone to know what comes up must come down and what comes down must come up. So I was in the worst depression that I've ever experienced. Like, here's the past one, here was this one, and here was that last high. But now, and I was aware of it. I literally have notes where I wrote down, I have it in front of me, like where I wrote, I know what's coming is going to be so big because of how low I am. And right now, I've been shooting back up because I had to get through that valley, and now I'm coming up to the top again. And I think I have kind of a little bit in my head and like very deep down that it's going to get ripped away from me again, but this time I'm like, it's not, because I know that God has put me through all these challenges over the past 4 years to prepare me for now. Like, now. And it's proving itself. So anybody that's struggling right now, I just want to let you know everything happens for a reason, and you will get to where you need to go, but this is preparing you for what you need to do. And just remember that you have the power to change your circumstances. Because like I was waking up every day like depressed as hell, bed rotting and all that. But I had to become self-aware and be like, okay, this isn't working for me. This isn't the version of who I want to be. And I recognized that. I was in like my lowest version of my reality, because we're always flipping realities. It's like I felt like I had to get through my little dog show reality to get to my bodybuilding reality to finally get to my art success reality, because I was like, this is what I want. But you have to go through those layers of realities that are all the possibilities, I have a friend who's a projector, and that means you can see into different realities. And she was telling me, she was like, it was last year, and she was telling me, yeah, the reality where like you're most successful is literally a room away. And I literally was like, a room away? That must be about a year, And if you knew that there's the most high reality, the way she said it was, it's like fractals, and the most high reality, or the one that you're closest to, is the bigger fractal, and then whichever is like your worst version of reality is like far away and smaller. But I feel like I had to jump into my worst reality to get to my highest reality, which is
For sure.
like a little mind fuck. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes you don't. I feel like sometimes you don't know you're in a high point too, or like you have to recognize it.
And that's why you have to be grateful for when you're in the high points.
For sure. You were texting us during the event, and I remember like every night you would kind of give us a rundown. We would ask you like, how's it going? What's going on? And you were so genuinely excited every night. You were like messaging us, telling about like all the different people you met and the opportunities that kind of presented themselves to you. And it's one of those things where it is amazing when you know that like this is a place that is where you're supposed to be, because I feel like things align so much more naturally when that happens. I know I had a similar experience when I went to Loot Fest alone. I think going alone too, to be on a side tangent, going alone to kind of these events and these growing opportunities is so important because it allows you to really grow outside of who you usually are and to network with new people in a way that you might not if you go with other people that you already know. And I think that it's important to have those alone times to then recognize like, oh, this is an important moment in my life, to separate from maybe other people's experiences in the same place and be like, no, this is about me and my growing in this event, and to really like acknowledge just how important something like what you just went through is.
I've been anticipating this week for 2 months, like 2 months. I don't know if I told you guys, but I literally had a friend. So like I went to 2 little shows in February, I think, and they were back to back. The first one was great. It was so fun. And then the next day I was like, dang, I don't know if I want to go. I'm tired. But my friend looks at me and he goes, you're going to that rave. And I'm like, okay. So I go home, get ready, and I go back to their place to go hang out before. So I went, and that's where the opportunity was presented to me with John I. He said, hey, do you want to be an art director? And I was like, absolutely, yes. And so I was anticipating this month for 2 months. I had that much time to prepare. And some of it I do recognize where I wasn't living in the present moment and I was anticipating too much and I was unfocused and distracted on staying like present, and I could have done more. And like that's where you reflect and you go back and you're like, oh, I could have done this, but you implement it for the next time where you have to be in that type of situation. But yeah, so I knew that this week was coming and I knew the energy you felt of it, like something was coming. And I went there, no expectations, okay? I went there to show my art, like I told you guys in that one episode. Go to show your art. Go to make an impact with your art. And I did make some sales, which was great, but the opportunities that were presented were so much more valuable than the money I made, and the friends I made was so much more than any type of money in the world, you know? But yeah, the opportunities were better than the people, because when you recognize that something might be leading you to an opportunity, that opportunity is going to lead you to another opportunity, to another opportunity, to another. So it's like you have to keep following your intuition and what's right for you, because I was following my intuition at this point. I was like, I know what's right for me, and like when something would present itself as an opportunity and it didn't feel right for me, I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, follow your intuition, follow your heart. If you can, open yourself up to the possibility of something working and pulling strings for your highest and greatest good, regardless of how that seemed to you as a negative or positive experience. It is helping you grow. So when you start taking the bigger perspective of everything, you can start releasing things that you're holding on to, because you'll realize, oh, it happened for a reason. And no matter what, if you just say to yourself, it's no matter what happens, it's working out for me, it will. Because you have to believe it in yourself. There's this one song called God's Perspective, and it goes, once you get my love, you won't need it anymore. Mic drop. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap up the episode here. Thank you guys. And Hunter, you want to say anything?
Just thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all our social media, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, obviously. We got some great stuff coming from the festival, maybe a blog. Yeah.
Also, I'm going to show it here. Adult Summer Camp from May 17th to the 20th. It's at Camp Bramblewood, back up in Maryland, if you're interested in feeling like a kid again. There's some mediocre talent show, karaoke, there's a pool, and a lot of great things. I'll be vending my art there, so I hope to see you there if you're in the area. Thank you guys for joining us, and I appreciate you so much with all the love in my heart. Thank you for watching, and I really, truly hope and pray that everything works out for you, because it will.
Bye.
Bye.